Family, what's going on? It's your boy Ray J coming at you another Basement Boy production from my living room. Got my youngest son in the game, Nehemiah, or as mommy calls him, Nehemiah. He'll be 6 months, like in I think next week. I think whenever June 19th is. So I want to do a bass talk lesson on gear because there's a lot of I won't say ins and outs of like finding gear, but you basically at the end of the day you're going to get what you pay for. All right, so let's go to the throne of grace because I still, even though I'm not playing, we're just talking. I still want to speak with clarity. Hi, your name is Shia. Forgive us for all our sins. Continue to cleanse us from all of our unrighteousness. Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for another day in the land of the living. Thank you for life, health, and strength. As we go into this lesson, increase our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding for the base, Heavenly Father. As I speak with clarity, help the viewers to learn and understand where I'm coming from with clarity, Father. And as we water and plant, continue to give the increase in all things. You'll get all the glory, honor, and praise for His name. We pray. Amen. So, like I said, I wanted to talk about gear because gear is important for your sound. The one biggest lie, or the biggest lie that you will hear in the bass industry, or well, among bass players, is the true tone all comes from your hand and how you play. That's a lie. Because if that was the case, all the bass players who have said that or echoed those sentiments, they would be playing with like a Squire bass or like $100 bass, your cheapest bass. Because why pay 10,000 or $1,000 for a bass if a bass that costs $100 will give you the same sound? But they don't. They want to say they. I mean, I won't say they're purposely saying that. I don't think they are like trying to deceive you. What they're trying to get at is that you want to focus on how you make certain notes sound. But when they say the most important thing of your sound is your two fingers or your fingering, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is your gear. It's not like driving a car and you saying, well, the most important thing about a car and the driver is the driver. Because if you could drive good, the car is going to be good. That's okay. But if you got a hoopty that cuts off every 3 miles and I have a luxury car that doesn't cut off, you could be the best driver in the world. Your car's still going to cut off. And if we're racing, if we're having a race, I'm going to win. So you just want to take it in the manner that they're trying to get you to receive it, where it's just they want you to think about, don't think about having the best gear, because the best gear doesn't mean you're going to be the best bassist. So you still need to have skill, of course, but when it comes about sound, your the type of bass you get, your type of amp, that does matter. That matters. Sound matters. Okay, so if all things are even, Victor Wooten, he will still sound good on a cheap bass as he would his Fedora that he plays. But the Fedora is going to sound 10 times better than your average, like your lower end bass, because they're just not made the same. All basses aren't created equal. So again, when they say that, they want you to focus on your skills and not worrying, thinking because you got good equipment that you're going to sound good or that you're going to be playing good. A good bass player will sound good on anything. So the skills first, but once you have the skills, or once you're able to play a song, let's just say you could get through service, your gear does matter. And I know that because I have my Douglas bass, this is my first bass I bought. It's the brown one, and he's watching SpongeBob, so I don't want to interrupt him, but I will show you. But y'all know my first bass where I used to do all my bass lessons, the brown one, I paid $185 for that from Rondo Music, and I would recommend if you want like a lower end bass that could get you through, check out it's rondomusic.com, RONDOMUSIC.com. They have a lot of lower end. You probably never heard of the brands, but they have them, and it's just something quick to grab. And that was my main bass for a while, and it got me through. Then I got a Squire. I had a 5 string Squire. It was the black and white one. I sold that back to Guitar Center, and that cost like 150, and it was okay. But when I got my Fender, my American Deluxe, that J5 string, it's a night and day difference. That bass cost 2,000. But the good thing about these days, every website does a payment plan. So I did 12-month payment plan, $150 a month. They ship American. I got that one from American Musical Supply. You do the first payment, they ship the bass out to you, and you just make monthly payments. So and once I got that bass, without me doing anything to the tone or like setting the tone, I'm just taking it out the wrapper and playing it. Sounded 10 times better than my Squire and my Douglas bass. It wasn't even close because when you pay, you get what you pay for. Truly, like your high end basses, the wood is going to be a lot better. The neck is going to feel a lot better. You know, the pickups are going to be more powerful. Like the EQ, you're going to get a lot more for what you pay for. Not saying you got to spend $10,000 or $3,000 because I'm gonna tell you the bass I recommend and the bass that I'm gonna get it's called Sire. Marcus Miller endorses them now. He left Fender for them, and for about $700, which is in the bass time that's pretty cheap. In the bass area, that's pretty cheap. But for about $700 to $900, you could come away with a quality bass. Like if I could do it over again, I would have gotten the Sire. I think it's like the J5 or something. They have their version of a jazz bass, but it's like $1,100 cheaper than a Fender, and it sounds better. Just coming standard because their preamp is stat for like the V7. So check out it's Sire Guitars or Sire Basses, or just Google Sire Basses and just follow the link. So your sound does matter. Your bass does matter. If you want a good, hearty, meat sound, you're gonna have to invest. But if you just need a bass just to get through, like I said, I had my Douglas for like the first 3 years that I was playing. It got me through. And even when I upgraded like the electronics, like it didn't have a preamp. I put a Aguilar OPB3 pickup. It's just 3-band EQ, bass, mids, and treble. When I put that EQ in, it gave it an extra boost, and I changed the pickups and put in Nordstrom pickups, and it changed it a lot. But at the end of the day, the bass is still, it's a low quality bass. It looks good, but it's a low quality bass. The wood is not, it's not strong. It doesn't have a great resin. That word really doesn't fit. I've been watching a lot of fragrance videos. That's what they talk about, like the deep, the hardy, the bass notes, your resins and your woods and your musks. But anyway, I put the electronics that I put in the bass was 2 times more than what I paid for the bass. Like that OPB3 pickup was 165. I paid 185 for the bass, and those Nordstrom pickups together were like 250. So I spent like upwards of like 253, like $400 for the electronics to put in a 185 bass. And at the end of the day, it still sounds like a $185 bass, and that's because of the wood and how it's made. But I gotta in my Fender, my Jazz 5 that I paid 2,000 for. I put a Audir preamp, and that thing took it to a whole new level, another level. That joint is barking, it's growling, it's a big difference. So again, if you go on the cheap side, that's okay. You can get away with playing, but if you want that next level sound or that professional sound or that growly sound where this joint really sounds good, you're gonna have to invest. But like I said, companies I recommend, if you don't want to spend like, let's say like over 1,500, definitely check out Sire, and even bass mods. They have a lot of basses, around 1,100. You can check out them too. Because, like I said, I got the Fender before I found out about bass mods. And bass mods just come in standard, all things equal. Their basses sound a lot better than the average, the standard Fender American. And I got the American Deluxe, which is the highest you could go for Fender basses because it has the preamp, but the pickups, they're corny. The N3 noiseless, they're corny. I'd rather get some Nordstrand or Aguilars or Reed James pickups. You could Google them as well. So I just wanted to do this talk just to let you know the sound is not all about your fingers. They're just saying that. You just hear that so you can focus on you being able to be the best bassist you can be. Being able to, groove with the notes. But at the end of the day, all things equal, if I play the same exact song, the same exact way that Victor Wooten or Derek Bennett or Mono Neon or RC or any of your favorite bassists, if we play the same exact song, but I'm playing on let's say a bass mod or a Sire, I'm playing on a more expensive bass, and they're playing like on your cheapest bass. If we play the exact same way, you're gonna hear a distinctive difference in the sound quality, and it's all about the sound quality. If we play the exact same way, so again, your sound matters. Whatever you get, whatever you pay for, you're gonna get. Like I said, and even with your speakers, there are some speakers that sound better. Some of the speakers I have, like the one I always practice in, I don't know if you can see it. You got the wipes. That's the GK MB212, and I also at the church I play at, I have a Harkey 4x10 XL. Harkey 4x10 XL. He's about to go to sleep, and I gotta go to Waffle House to get my stuff. Let me see if I could get somebody to pick it up. No, I'm gonna have to go. So, got some Waffle House, man, but the good clean Waffle House. All right, so I have the Harkey 4x10 XL bass head. I have TC 2x12 cab is the R212, the RS212, and I have my GK, and I also have an Ampeg 1x15. My favorite amp to play in is by far my TC Electronic. Is the RS212 because it's just versatile and it sounds good. And the heads I have the. Let me show you the bass head I have. And I got this one. I got my TC as well. I have this head. It's called the BH800. It means it just has 800 watts at four ohms. Yes. All right. This is the amp, and this amp is versatile and it's crunchy, and it didn't cost a lot. I think it cost like 500 or 600, and my my amp, it was like 700. You could just go online and look at it. But again, I paid a little for it, but it sounds great. And even I got my GK212. That's the MB212. I paid I think I paid 500 for that, and I got that used from Guitar Center. It sounds good. But again, even with your cabs, you get what you pay for. If you get something of the lower end, and with cabs, you have more flexibility because you can find a lot of good stuff at a used price, like SWR. If you could find any SWR Goliath versions, scoop it up. They're still among my favorite. Like I need to get an SWR 4x10 Goliath 3 4x10 because it's so, oh my gosh, it's punchy. When you think of all those 90s hits in the gospel music, they were using SWR, like Reggie Parker for Hezekiah Walker. All they used was SWR amps, and as well as the rigs. So again, you're gonna get what you pay for, but it's more that applies more, especially for your bass. Now with your amps, there's so many good amp makers, and they're all around the same prices. But with basses, the difference is greater in price than it is for amps, because amps are are all going to be around basically the same price. But with your basses, they the less work they put in, or the less crafted is going to be, the cheaper the price. And the more craft, the more work they put in it, the more the price. So I would say, if you had to choose, what do I want to invest in first? A quality bass or quality amp? You always pick the bass, because with your basic amp, that bass will still boom. Amp is just, how the sound distributes from whatever you're coming through. You can just think about it. You got a good singer, you got a bad singer. They're still going to come through the amp, and you're still going to be able to hear them. But the bad singer, you're going to know that's the bad singer. It's not the amp, it's the singer. Oh, it's a good singer. It's not the amp, it's the singer. So I will always choose invest in a good bass. Even like Squier, I don't want to give them a bad rep because they're good for like starter basses. It's just as you grow and you start to see what type of feeling you like, whether if you like a bulky neck or like a smooth neck, that's when you kind of do away with the Squiers. But at the same time, I felt some Squiers that felt as good as my J bass. So that's always out there too. You just gotta feel around and everything. But overall, you're gonna get what you pay for. And when they say your tone or the best sound comes from your hands, they're only referring to you actually knowing how to play the bass and play a song. But after that, the sound comes from that bass. That sound comes from that bass. You get what you pay for. All right? So, 16-minute talk. Hopefully, it was helpful. If y'all have any questions, like always, just hit me up. And this is what we do. And again, if you need me to, what do I recommend? You can just hit me up. I mean, especially with amps, a lot is good. It's just what type of sound do you prefer? Do you like a growly sound, a barky sound, a smooth, all even sound? Just bass, a lot of boom, or a lot of attack. It's just what you like. And the way you can find what you like, just listen to like different basses play, and just find out if you like their tone. Just try to find out, what they're playing, whether if you can see the amp or anything. But even that, like if you're talking like the highest level or bass, their basses are stacked. Meaning, like Mono Neon, he has a bass mod. That's it. Like I said, they're not overly expensive, but I know he has a good preamp. He has a great preamp, and he has nice pickups in it. So just knowing these little things can really make a difference. So, because people really have you believe it. Yeah, man. It's all about your sound. Like, how are you telling me it's all about my fingers, but you're doing a video when you're using a preamp, meaning the sound that I'm hearing you play isn't your natural bass. You're preamping it, meaning you're giving it a boost of EQ. A lot of people don't know that, and that's why I wanted to explain what they really mean, because that's true. I know, because I used to believe that bass players would be playing they online like, oh, it's all about your fingers, man. So how are you? Why, if it's all about your fingers, why are you filtering your sound? Because once you filter the sound, that takes away from the natural sound of the bass. You're still going to hear it, but that natural sound, you take away from it because you're filtering it. And when you use a preamp, or you use a patch, or if it's coming through like your computer system, like Logic or something, a software, you're filtering that sound. That means a lot of the natural sound is getting shaped, it's getting filtered. So it's all really all not natural. Maybe you didn't know that. Maybe you did. So this your boy Ray J, over and out.